Good morning, I'm Paolo del Rosario. Welcome to Weather HQ. Today's headlines. The government is bent on providing more climate-resilient houses to protect beneficiaries from natural hazards. Joining us later in the show is Human Settlements and Urban Development Undersecretary Henry Yap. In the U.S., tens of thousands of residents north of Los Angeles have been evacuated after a new wildfire grew rapidly over the past day. And the rare planetary parade is set to illuminate the night sky this month. Let's take a look first at the local weather. Two dominant weather systems are affecting the country today. The northeast monsoon that affects northern and central Luzon will bring cloudy skies and light rains to Batanes. Now, it will also bring partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains over the Ilocos region and the Cordillera Administrative Region. Central Luzon and the rest of Cagayan Valley will also be affected. Now, the easterlies, which affect the rest of the country, will cause cloudy skies and scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over Caraga, Davao Region, Socsargen, Catanduanes, Northern Samar, Eastern Samar, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. Now, here in Metro Manila and the rest of the country, easterlies will also bring partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon or the evening. As for our sea conditions, there is no gale warning in effect, so sea conditions remain safe for mariners. Light to moderate seas are expected across the country, but it's still advisable to exercise caution when traveling out to sea. Mariners are encouraged to make the most of their time in the water while conditions remain favorable, but should stay vigilant and prepared to take precautions if the weather changes. Now let's take a look at some of the highest temperatures according to Pag-asa. Despite being the amihan season, Pag-asa reported that yesterday saw some of the hottest temperatures across the Philippines, with several regions enduring intense and scorching heat. The usual cool northeasterly winds associated with the amihan were unable to fully temper the soaring temperatures, leading to unusually high readings in various areas. The highest temperature was recorded in Coron, Palawan, where the sun blazed at a sweltering 35.2 degrees Celsius, making it the hottest spot of the day. This was followed by Subic Bay International Airport, where the temperature climbed to a whopping 33.5 degrees Celsius, underscoring the intense warmth being felt along the coastlines. In San Jose Occidental, Mindoro, temperature reached up to 33 degrees Celsius, while Cotabato City wasn't far behind, recording 32.7 degrees Celsius, resulting in a stifling humid day in the southern part of the country. Meanwhile, in Muñoz City, Nueva Ecija, it registered 32.5 degrees Celsius, a reflection of the high temperatures sweeping across central Luzon. Now, these extreme heat levels pose significant risks, leading to potential discomfort, dehydration, and a higher chance of heat-related illnesses. Residents and travelers in these areas must take extra precautions, staying hydrated by drinking plenty of water, wearing light and breathable clothing, and seeking shelter in shaded or air-conditioned spaces, particularly during the hottest parts of the day. Now, let's take a look at what's happening now in Luzon. Speaking about temperatures, as we look at selected cities and provinces. Going to the northern part of Luzon here, Basco will have some of the coolest parts of the Luzon area, as typical with the northeast monsoon, 20 to 23 degrees Celsius here. Over in Apari, Lawag, and Vigan, cloudless skies expected here with temperatures soaring to around 31 degrees Celsius over in Lawag. The low will be around 21 degrees Celsius, which is going to be similar to in Vigan as well. Now, over to Baguio, Tuguegarao, and Dagupan, similar weather conditions in those areas as partly cloudy skies will bring pleasant weather. In Baguio, temperatures will vary from 16 to 24 degrees Celsius, rather 15 to 24 degrees Celsius, providing a cool atmosphere, while Tuguegarao and Dagupan will experience warmer conditions with temperatures rising to up to 31 degrees Celsius. Now, as I mentioned a while ago, Vigan, Lawag, and Apari, sunny weather, mostly clear skies expected. Apari and Vigan will reach up to 29 degrees Celsius, while Lawag will have some of the hottest in the region. Now, moving on to Central Luzon. Now, in Central Luzon, particularly in Casiguran, Tarlac, Subic Bay, Mariveles, and Metro Manila, you can expect partly cloudy skies for the entire day. Now, temperatures in these areas may reach between 30 to 34 degrees Celsius, with some of the highs that we're seeing here being in Tarlac. Subic Bay at 33 degrees Celsius, Metro Manila will be around 32 degrees Celsius. Casiguran will top out at 30 degrees Celsius, as you can see over here. Now, in Gapan and Iba, as well as Angeles, you're going to see clear skies anticipated throughout the day, Hottest conditions are expected in the afternoon, with temperatures over in Iba reaching around 31 degrees Celsius, while Gapan will have 32 degrees Celsius. Angeles, meanwhile, will also have similar conditions with 32 degrees Celsius. Moving on to southern Luzon, a pleasant day is expected with comfortable temperatures in areas like Tagaytay, Calamba, and Romblon. Now, in Tagaytay, temperatures will be slightly warmer than usual, 20 to 26 degrees Celsius over in Tagaytay, but still mild and pleasant atmosphere over in Tagaytay. Calamba will have around 30 degrees Celsius. Romblon will experience slightly warmer conditions with temperatures ranging from 24 to 28 degrees Celsius. Again, comfortable over in Romblon. As we mentioned a while ago, Calamba a bit warmer, 24 to 30 degrees Celsius, but still manageable for a pleasant day out. Now, of course, as we take a look at the rest of the region, in Daet, you can see sunny weather with temperatures ranging from 25 to 29 degrees Celsius, making for a warm but not overly hot day. Further in the south, in Legazpi, Sorsogon, Puerto Galera, and Coron, cloudy skies with occasional breaks of sunshine are anticipated. Puerto Galera will see temperatures peaking at around 28 degrees Celsius, while Legazpi will experience some of the warmer weather as well, 31 degrees Celsius being the high over in Legazpi. Now, Coron will have some of the hottest conditions though, temperatures soaring to around 32 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, in Verac, you can expect cloudy skies over in Verac, along with rain showers and possible thunderstorms throughout the day. Now, despite the rains, temperatures over in Verac will still reach a high of around 31 degrees Celsius. Now, moving on to the Visayas region, as we move further to the south, cloudy skies with a high chance of rain showers are expected in Tagbilaran and Tacloban throughout the day. Tacloban will experience a high of around 30 degrees Celsius, while Catarman will be slightly hotter at around 31 degrees Celsius. Taking a look at Boracay right now, Boracay and Dumaguete will have cloudy conditions, but the occasional breaks of sunshine will offer brief moments of clear skies. Temperatures in Boracay will be a bit mild, peaking at around 28 degrees Celsius, while Dumaguete will have a high of around 31 degrees. Meanwhile, partly cloudy skies will continue to dominate Metro Cebu and Catarman, with temperatures in these areas reaching up to 31 degrees Celsius. In Iloilo and Bacolod, sunny weather is expected, with temperatures climbing significantly to around 32 degrees Celsius. These areas will experience hot conditions throughout the day, especially in the afternoon when the heat is at its peak. Moving on to Mindanao, Zamboanga, Dipolog, Marawi, Cagayan de Oro, General Santos, Butuan, and Metro Davao will all experience rainy conditions. Now, Marawi will be the coolest amongst these areas. They will see temperatures ranging from 21 to 26 degrees Celsius, making for a relatively mild day with cloudy skies and occasional rain showers to keep the temperature comfortable. Now, Cagayan de Oro will have temperatures between 24 to 30 degrees Celsius throughout the day. Now, the day will be warm. The rain will provide some brief relief from that heat. General Santos will be slightly warmer than that, temperatures reaching around 31 degrees Celsius. Butuan will experience even warmer conditions with 32 degrees Celsius being the high. Take a look at Dipolog and Zamboanga. These areas are typically some of the hottest in the region, but it's now matching Butuan with around 32 degrees Celsius being the high in the western part of Mindanao. Now, when we return, we will give you an update on damage sustained from yesterday's earthquake in southern Leyte. Stay tuned. You're watching Weather HQ. Welcome back. You're still watching Weather HQ. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Several buildings and houses were damaged by the magnitude 5.9 quake that hit southern Leyte yesterday. These include the Sangguniang Bayan building and gym in the town of San Francisco. There were also cracks in some roads, while a landslide occurred in the municipality of Pintuyan. Over 60 aftershocks were recorded. After several hours, a magnitude 6.1 earthquake also struck Zamboanga del Norte, prompting the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology to issue warnings on possible aftershocks. President Marcos has urged concerned agencies to build climate-resilient houses that can withstand typhoons and other natural disasters. We have on the phone the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development Undersecretary, Henry Yap. Magandang umaga po. Thank you very much for joining us.
Magandang umaga. Good morning to everyone.
Yusek, could you give us a brief overview of your department's distinct role and priorities sa housing industry po natin?
Yes, the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development is the sole policy making and management policy coordination for housing, human settlements, and urban development. Primarily, we are supposed to deliver housing with our key shelter agencies together with the local governments to be able to respond to the housing needs and backlog of the country.
Well, the President Bongbong Marcos had a recent remark to build climate-resilient houses. Has this translated to the policy or mandating all housing projects to follow certain standards to ensure that they are climate-resilient against typhoons, earthquakes, and other natural disasters?
Yes, we have actually been building climate-resilient housing. When we say climate-resilient, they are actually disaster resilient. So it's a type of housing that is designed and constructed to withstand the impact of natural disasters. You've already mentioned the likes of typhoon. They also would include flooding and earthquakes. Let me just highlight what are these aspects that when we talk about resilient housing. No? So first, actually, they should be able to be structurally stable so that they are standing on strong foundation with reinforced walls, and their roofs are already sturdy enough to withstand strong winds, earthquakes, and heavy rains. In addition, this resilient housing has to be protected from flooding. One of our main calamities or disasters that we normally encounter in the country is flooding brought about by heavy rains. Mm-hmm. So as part of the design natin ng mga resilient houses, we already elevate them so that they are not prone to flooding or will be swept away when strong rains come over that particular area.
Yusek, there are obviously a lot of standards to make sure that these climate-resilient measures are observed. Right now, are there any penalties for contractors who are producing substandard housing or substandard work that is in place to ensure that the current or at least the hoped results will be there with regard to being climate resilient?
Yes, first, our standards have been upgraded to already consider resilient housing. No? In the case of housing, our National Housing Authority already incorporates that as part of the standards. So when we now bid out the projects for construction, we make sure that they adhere to the requirements or the standards that have been provided. Of course, during the course of the development, our engineers there would check the quality of the work. And if found deficient, they have to correct it. And later on, if they did some, there are some problems that are noted, they could also impact their future projects.
Can we know a bit more about the beneficiaries for these housing projects, especially those who are actually victims of calamities? And of course, how are they able to actually afford these housing projects? And what does the government do to ensure that, okay, there will be a reasonable turnover?
Okay. Last week, the President was in Tacloban for the turnover of approximately 3,500 units. Actually, what the President did was to turn this over to local government so that the local government can facilitate the turnover in turn to the beneficiaries. In this case, we are happy to announce that the units that had been turned over will be free. So they will not, the beneficiaries did not have to worry about having to pay for the building. So there is no amortization that they have to worry.
Mm-hmm. Is that going to be true for, obviously there are also other projects, but on a typical basis, how are the payments made? And of course, what work is it? Is it going to be based on what the LGU's policy are, or is it going to be something more national?
No, there is a national policy on that, and that is the directive that the NHA will provide the local governments. In the case of what we turned over last week, the President turned over, we had entered into a memorandum of agreement with various local governments and spelling out what they can and cannot do as far as those units that will be turned over. Now, we now give the local governments the chance now to be able to identify the beneficiaries. No, in many of the local governments, they create a LIAC or a group or that assess or evaluate the beneficiaries. In the case of the Yolanda housing, the priority are those whose units were affected and totally damaged during the typhoon, super typhoon.
Well, Yusek, I'm sure the department has a lot of work to do, especially with regard to yung future plans po ninyo, not only in providing climate-resilient houses, but also addressing a housing backlog dito sa bansa po natin. What are the key policies or, of course, the key projects that you feel that would address these problems moving forward in the short term?
Yes, in addition to resilient housing, the President last year, or 2023, through Executive Order 34, declared the Pambansang Pabahay para sa Filipino program, or the 4PH program, as a flagship program. This program is a joint undertaking of the local government, the national government, as well as the private sector in trying to address the housing needs. Our objective is to now build housing across the whole country with inputs from both national and local government, as well as providing affordability to our beneficiaries. By affordability, we mean providing them with interest subsidy so that it is now easier for them to be able to pay these monthly dues.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, DHSUD Undersecretary Henry Yap. Magandang umaga po. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat and thank you to everyone.
Up next, we have the global weather here on Weather HQ. Keep it here. You're watching BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Back. You're watching Weather HQ. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Let's take a look at the global weather. Strong winds and extremely dry conditions were anticipated to complicate firefighting efforts in Southern California on Thursday as a new wildfire grew rapidly over the past day, prompting the evacuation of tens of thousands of people north of Los Angeles. The Hughes fire, about 50 miles north of Los Angeles, has grown to 10,176 acres since Wednesday. Firefighters have 14% containment, but strong winds and low humidity are expected to make conditions worse through Friday. Around 31,000 people were evacuated in the Castiac Lake area. The Eaton and Palisades fires have killed 28 people and destroyed 16,000 structures. A smaller fire near the Getty Museum briefly closed parts of the 405 freeway despite a 9-month drought. The rain is expected this weekend, offering some relief. The Eaton fire is 95% contained and the Palisades fire is 70% contained. A historic winter storm that hit the U.S. Gulf Coast on Tuesday, bringing rare snowfall from Houston to New Orleans and the Florida Panhandle, highlights the need for preparedness despite overall global warming. Meteorologist Bob Henson explained that while winters are generally warming, extreme weather events can still surprise areas not typically accustomed to such conditions. The storm was fueled by a polar vortex, a mass of cold air usually confined to the North Pole. When the jet stream weakens, this cold air can move south, impacting regions far beyond its typical reach. Scientists are debating whether the warming Arctic is affecting the jet stream, making these cold blasts more intense. Henson stressed that while these extreme weather events are rare, they emphasize the need for better preparedness, as governments must plan for both intense heat waves and unexpected winter storms. This week, a snowstorm warning affected 31 million people from southern Texas to the Carolinas and Virginia. The long-awaited snowfall brought excitement to both visitors and local business owners in the Crea Mountains of Ablida, Algeria. People were seen sledding and playing in the snow, while those renting winter gear or selling food benefited from a surge in customers. According to a 28-year-old tea and nut seller, the snow came a bit late this year and expressed his relief because, like many other vendors in the area, his business relies on the snowy season. Each winter, visitors from various Algerian cities flock to the Crea Mountains to enjoy activities like sledding and riding cable cars. A rare planetary parade will illuminate the night sky throughout January, offering a spectacular sight as 6 planets align for the remainder of the month. According to NASA, 4 of these planets will be visible to the naked eye, providing a unique opportunity for skywatchers. Among the planets, Venus and Saturn will appear closest to each other on Friday and Saturday evenings. These 2 planets will be visible in the western sky just after sunset for the first couple of hours as the sky darkens. Their proximity during this period will make them especially easy to spot, shining brightly against the backdrop of the evening sky. For the best view, observers should head outside in the early evening looking westward, where the 2 planets will be positioned close together. This alignment is part of a larger planetary parade, but the visibility of these 2 planets close to one another is particularly notable. And that's Weather HQ for today. Join us again tomorrow, or rather next week. Excited na ako magtrabaho. Whatever the weather, here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Have a great weekend.